This marks the 14th part of this manhwa. If you haven't viewed the previous parts, you can access it by clicking the I button located above, or the link is provided in description. Let's aim for 200 likes on today's video. Mir Shahizi Chilin squad leader Guk Chung asked how many of their troops had escaped. A Chilin squad vice leader responded saying that less than one group had made it out, with more than half of them being killed. Guk Chung wondering who would have expected their reinforcements to attack immediately without joining the main force. He blamed Mu for letting his guard down. Guk Chung turned to a nearby person and asked about their side. The member of the Heaven Destruction Palace replied saying that they were in the same situation. Guk Chung made a decision stating that they should prepare to retreat immediately. Their initial mission was to delay the enemy forces, and there was no need for the remaining people to die unnecessarily. He also emphasized the importance of not exposing their identities any further. Guk Chung reflected on their second mission, which was to secretly assassinate the third young master. However, in order to accomplish that, they needed the help of those bastards. He expressed his reluctance towards that plan and questioned the young master's decision to join forces with the leader of the Heaven Destruction Palace. The member of the Heaven Destruction Palace responded, accepting Guk Chung's authority, but warning that it would be their group, not theirs, who would face a miserable fate. He mocked Guk Chung for wanting to run away out of fear of death. Guk Chung thinks that he could only say such things because they hadn't encountered the person he was referring to. He believed that person was undoubtedly a realm above the four great guardians. The member of the Heaven Destruction Palace mentioned that they were the ones who had killed Mu, expressing concern about him potentially confessing under torture. Guk Chung acknowledged their statement, and the Heaven Destruction Palace member added that Mu was lying on the floor after they sealed his pressure points. Guk Chung stated then they will be the ones who cut them down, since he'll be in trouble if he say anything he want with that loose mouth. He ordered his squad leave no one behind and bury them all here. Meanwhile, at the Manchurians' camp, AK John stated they are almost done clearing the battlefield. Peng Hyunchuang exclaimed it's an overwhelming victory. Shizhou added it's truly amazing that they were able to subjugate the enemy force that was 10 times greater than them in one go. Seo Jin stated however they couldn't capture the enemy commander. He were a step too late. AK John reassured it's still considered a success since they were able to keep the damage to their troops to a minimum. Shizhou inquired still who on earth killed the enemy's commander? Seo Jin replied he don't know. He was already dead when he arrived. Shizhou pondered anyway in this battle their heavenly elemental squad contributed the most. Seo Jin acknowledged it's all thanks to the vice squad leader. Shizhou inquired by the way where did Sir Vice squad leader go? Seo Jin explained that when they won and were celebrating, but the vice squad leader said he needed to go somewhere for a bit. Myeong-woon approached and exclaimed what in the world is this? They greeted the third young master. Myeong-woon questioned could it be that instead of joining the main force, they went to fight against Manchurians? Seo Jin confirmed yes young master, Shizhou thinks. Since the seventh young master distinguished himself in battle the moment he arrived, it's a given that the third young master is angry. Myeong-woon started laughing and inquired so where is Woon? Seo Jin was about to explain but at that moment Woon approached and asked brother you are here? Woon apologized for the late greetings. He thinks that his inner chi was now at rock bottom after using the body lightning art. He recalled what had happened earlier when he followed the Guk Chung. Woon believed that he could sense movement, and guessed that there were 5 people. He had to find the guy who ran away because he had no doubt that Myeonggak was planning something. Woon quickly moved and blocked their path but he thinks damn it isn't him. But these aren't good guys either. Person asked him who is he? Woon laughed and replied he was just passing by and he suddenly got a little thirsty. Can he spare him some water? The person agreed and said sure the people from Alxin don't turn people in need away. However the person then launched arrows towards Woon which he easily dodged. Woon thinks these arrows are too slow. This isn't the Central Plains martial arts. Judging from their appearance are these guys from the western regions? This faint energy there's someone else inside. As Woon lifted the curtain he wondered has she been poisoned? Or drugged? In the present Woon explained he found her while chasing the remnants of the Manchurians. He thinks about just leaving her behind but judging by her attire, he believes she's a member of royalty from a nearby small country and she's been poisoned as well. According to the battle report he heard you were also poisoned third brother. Myeong-woon inquired in disbelief he even wrote that down in the battle report? Chai-ju replied he write it as was. Woon stated he is going to figure out what kind of poison this woman is suffering from and see if it's the same kind of poison as the poison on the thin arrow. At any rate, there were definitely Central Plains people among the Manchurian soldiers. He think we need to investigate it in detail. Myeong-woon replied they can figure that out by torturing the prisoners and order the division leader to be in charge of the interrogation. When he is done, kill them all. Shurzo responded at his command. Woon inquired, kill them all? No matter how much he plucked the grass in the field, it will grow again. Myeong-woon replied he sound like a hypocrite. Woon stated they can't come this far every time. There's a problem. This fight started because the Manchurians invaded our trade route. If they incur unnecessary resentment, our trade route will be put in jeopardy once more. It would be better in the long run if they elect the next tribal chieftain and take his child as a hostage, and then entrust the management of this area to him, and make him offer tributes. Our tax revenue will increase, so father will probably compliment him. AK John thinks just like what he heard from the squad leader, he's really smart. Myeong-won stated do what he want. He will be in charge of the interrogation too. When they return triumphant, he can tell father himself. Woon stated no, he belonged to the reinforcement force. This is your victory, third brother, and he'll probably return later since he have something else to attend to. Myeong-won thinks his victory? Is he trying to mock him? Woon thinks please do not worry. He is not going to take his credit away from this mere achievement. A while later Woon inquired is it true that they joined forces with the Central Plains people but he don't know their identities. Manchurian chieftain Zion replied it was something the tribal chieftain decided on himself. He didn't even tell them anything. Woon stated he'll die if he lied to him. Zion stated what's there to hide when they are already lost? Besides, most of them didn't welcome them. Woon inquired why they hadn't welcomed them. Zion explained this grassland is their land. Their pride does not allow them to protect it with the help of the Central Plains people. They would rather be trampled upon like wild grass. Woon stated fine and let me ask him one more question. Do he know about Alxen? Zion replied Alxen? Those individuals are demons. They engage in any activity solely for monetary gain. Although our interaction with them is limited, the smaller countries near Mount Tian Shan pay tribute and are under the rule of Alxen. Curious, Woon inquired then do he know who she is? Zion, taken aback, exclaimed that woman is the pearl of Mount Tian Shan Yi Xian. Inquisitive, Zion inquired why is that woman here? Woon thought to himself, pondering about Mount Tianshan's pearl. He recalled the events that had transpired earlier that day when he had successfully immobilized the people from Alxen by blocking their pressure point. The leader of the group, still unable to move, wondered what had happened to them. Woon inquired about the woman inside the carriage, suspecting that she had been poisoned and questioning if the person was responsible. The person hesitated, refusing to disclose any information, fearing humiliation. Woon calmly accepted his decision and acknowledging his wish to die. However, the person finally revealed that the woman was an ordinary citizen of the Daman nation and their encounter had been a mere misunderstanding. Woon accused them of kidnapping her while internally reflecting on the fact that the Daman nation was where Gaman, whom he had encountered in Daegwon village, hailed from. He also remembered how she had expressed gratitude and gifted him horses. Woon then questioned the person about the type of poison used on the woman, to which he claimed ignorance, stating that only the prophet knew. Intrigued by this mention of a leader, Woon pressed further, prompting the person to explain that the prophet was their leader, and only he possessed the ability to use poison. Woon realized that only the prophet had access to such a lethal substance. Determined to help the woman, Woon decided to take her with him, but not before instructing the person to inform the prophet of his impending visit. In the present moment, Woon contemplated the measures he have take to prevent the poison from spreading further, ensuring the woman's safety. Realizing that there was no antidote available, he saw an opportunity to establish a strong relationship with the Daman nation's royal family if the woman truly belonged to it. Despite feeling exhausted from the night raid and pursuit, Woon resolved to use his inner chi to gather the poison within her body and expel it. Burning off the poison with inner chi would be the easiest option, but given this woman's current state, it would be hard for her to endure that. A little later, Woon finished expelling the poison and thinks he can finally get some rest now. 4 hours later, Woon returns to girl tent, and he inquired if she was awake. She replied she heard he was the one who saved her. She is Yi Xian from Daman Nation. Thank him for saving her. Woon introduced himself as well. He is Woon from the Heavenly Demon Cult. Please have a seat. Curious, Yi Xian inquired could he be the young master who helped her older sister many years ago in Qinghai. Woon inquired who is her older sister. She revealed her older sister name is Go Min. Woon thought to himself if she is Go Min's younger sister, she must be The domination's princess. Aloud he stated although what he did wasn't that big of a deal he thinks so. She simply replied with okay. He then stated they will escort her back to the domination as soon as she recover. Grateful she expressed keep getting indebted to him. He suggested maybe she will be able to help him with something someday like a deal, or something. She assured him just tell her, and she will help him no matter what. Curious Woon inquired by the way why did those Alxin do this? He heard that her nation is already paying them tribute. The relationship between them two shouldn't be that bad. She explained it's an embarrassing story but since he is his benefactor, she will tell him. Their domination has been doing business with the Northwest merchant group of the Heavenly Demonic Cult for over a dozen years. Then one day a group of Alxin suddenly said they would act as brokers for our transactions. After receiving horses from them they said that the Heavenly Demonic Cult does not pay for them. Afterwards her older sister visited the Heavenly Demonic Cult herself and reported this fact. She continued later the Violet Light group leader visited them in person and helped them subdue all the nearby bandits and re-established our transactions. But as the number of bandits decreased so did the amount of tribute the Alxin collected. They claimed that they had disrupted the order here by borrowing the power of the Central Plains and demanded an exorbitant amount of tribute. When they refused stating that they couldn't give it to them they kidnapped her. He asked Yusian if she is saying that the Violet Light group leader didn't subdue the Alxin and that she wasn't the type to leave those kinds of bastards alone. She responded by saying that they never told her about the existence of Alxin because no matter how much they subdue them, those people are bound to appear again. They found it convenient to just offer tribute, since the Alxin had gathered nearby bandits. Woon then realized that the domination only wanted to receive money for the horses not for bandit subjugation. She regretted that if her sister had endured at that time, their relationship with the Alxin may not have worsened as much as it does now. Woon disagreed saying that the problem won't be solved if they don't face it. She was confused and Woon clarified that no matter how weak they are, those who assert their power will eventually have no choice but to fight back. He told Yusian to rest and that they would escort her to the domination as soon as the sun rises tomorrow. He thinks that there are people in the world who want to fight and build strength but are unable to, just like his mother. At that moment Seo Jin approached Woon and informed him that he had been looking for him. Woon asked what was going on, and Seo Jin stated that according to Zion, the poison on the thin arrow used on the third young master was snake poison that the Manchurians have been using for a long time. Woon requested Seo Jin to check this poison as it seemed to be a different type from the poison he was given. Woon thinks that for now they can say that the Alxin is not related to Myeonggak. Meanwhile the next morning at Daming Palace in front of the northern gate, Cult Left Master Yang Daichung discussed the deployment of the squads. He mentioned that the Dark Killer Squad, Demonic Soul Squad and Sword Soul Squad would serve as the vanguard, while all available troops from the 4 divine squads except the Black Tortoise Squad had been dispatched. Finally the first young master was preparing to conquer Faraway Mountain. The others remained silent during his announcement. Sima Jin pondered the high stakes involved in this battle. The first young master Myeong-cheon expressing his determination to succeed in conquering Mountain Faraway. Dark Killer Squad leader Lee Sung-won gave the order to depart. Near Shihizi at the Manchurians' camp, it was reported that Zhou Kwang had safely escorted Princess Yi Xian back to the Dominion Nation. Woon commended the successful mission. Seo Jin informed Woon that they were ready to return, including the third young master's troops. Woon, as the vice squad leader, instructed the first group leader to take care of the Heavenly Elemental Squad until his return, as they would have more tasks to accomplish soon. Seo Jin acknowledged the order. Woon bid Zae farewell, expressing his belief that Zae was a great warrior of Manchuria. He appointed Zion as the next Manchurian chieftain and promised proper rewards if Zion could ensure the safety of their trade routes. In return, Zae was expected to keep his promises. Zion assured Woon that he would never forget it. Woon looked at Jong Moon and stated, "Looks like they have to say their goodbyes." Jong Moon replied, "Hope to see him again soon, young master." The third young master approached and stated by now the conquest of Faraway Mountain would have begun. "He don't know where you're heading, but they are at an important juncture, so don't take too long." Woon replied he will keep that in mind. The third young master thanks him for his help in this mission. He thinks he will regret helping him this time. Woon responded, "Isn't it natural for brothers to help one another?" Woon thinks his apologies, but he can't help but regard his gratitude as half sincere. Woon inquired Zhou Kwang, "Are they ready?" Zhou Kwang answered, "Yes, young master." Woon declared, "Then shall they go and destroy the Alxin?" This marks the conclusion of the 14th part of this manhwa. The 15th part will be posted after there were at least 3 to 4 chapters of this manhwa released, so remember to like and subscribe to the channel for future update. Leave comments to share your experience. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.